Yeah, all good. All good. Just going for a nice, peaceful walk this morning. It's a nice, fresh, beautiful late spring morning. And I was doing a bit of reflecting this morning how sometimes football teams, what happens is they start to lose momentum. These sort of small moments, if you want to call it those, where they start to lose momentum and the game gets away from them. As a coach on the sideline, you kind of intuitively and you sort of sense when it begins to happen. And as a fan as well, you sort of watch the game, you start seeing the momentum changing. And generally in my performance coach based roles, one thing that sort of I observed over a number of years that, and this is my anecdotal experience, people might think differently, it generally is these sort of, if you want to call them small moments, it could start with a bad pass, not tracking a runner, a poor reaction to a second ball, the team starts to not communicate, the shape starts getting stretched, and then it starts to build up. The crowd starts to get on the team's back. The team starts to blame each other for mistakes, and players then start to sort of hide and not show them for the ball, so to speak. They sort of become afraid to make errors, like a spiral, like a snowball. I think it's really important to recognise this as old as you can, and sometimes you'll see sort of coaches and managers sort of screaming, and even fans screaming from the sidelines. And I think from a player's perspective, because they're in that sort of moment, sometimes it can be, I wouldn't say more difficult to recognise, but they're sort of caught up in it. They're sort of caught up in the game, and it's really important that players can recognise it early and start trying to regain momentum control. I mean, no team's going to dominate another team for 90 minutes or so. You know, every team's going to have their spell in the game. But I think that the key thing is, when the other team does have their spell in the game, not to lose control of the game and to keep the momentum going. And you'll see it sometimes, you know, the signs, recognise it early, the team stops talking and players start shouting and blaming instead of organising. The opposition start winning challenges and tackles and headers and second ball, and then the pressure starts to affect the players' decisions too. You know, even the smallest things start to sort of spiral. So, like, anecdotally, I think, and I'm not making suggestions or giving any advice what to do, you know, each to their own, but I think some of the things that you can do as a player and team is to go back to basics. If you're caught up in a situation like that where you lose momentum, you know, keep it simple. Focus on the next action. Focus on winning the next tackle. Win the next header. Make the next pass. You know, get back into shape. Communicate. You know, don't try and solve the whole game in a moment. Sort of break it down to a level where next pass, next tackle, next header, let's try and get a shot on goal. Let's try and put some passes together, so to speak. You know, let's sort of keep focused and keep it simple. Even occasionally slow the game down a little bit, have a breather, keep your shape. You know, win that sort of next action for me. Make it more simple rather than try and overcomplicate things. Just gradually, what's really important is to not let the game get away from you. And momentum will come back. I think one of the key things is losing momentum is making sure the game doesn't get away from you. and all of a sudden the other team that gain momentum don't sort of cash in and score 1 or 2 goals in quick succession, or start to sort of put you in a situation as a team where the game starts to get away. You lose the confidence or the belief that you can win the game. So to stay in the game. And I think that just getting the basics, the passing, the shape, sort of communications, stay calm, stay focused. And that's where you sort of need sort of leaders. And that's where you need the team to sort of stay focused and composed. But that's my take on it. You might see it differently. It's always good to sort of hear other people's sort of perspectives, but that's my perspectives on it.